Incoming.
Oh,
Did you hear what she said? She said, "Oh my effing God."
Pierce! Okay, so Pierce Morgan interviews this guy named Douglas Murphy. He is in Palestine right now. He's on the Gaza border right now.
No, that's crazy.
This guy's
he in that field. Everybody talking about this and that.
He's a gangster.
He went out there.
Yeah,
man.
he's a true thug.
He is literally a gangster. He can come back and make gangster rap.
He got no matter what his take is, I got the utmost respect for him because he actually out there.
So
in that.
he's an author. You know, he's a book. He writes books.
He's playing with his life like that to show the people what's going on.
You know, I respect it. Okay, yeah, he's a political commentator. So yeah, he has some stuff under his belt.
This is gonna be very interesting.
He obviously cares a lot. So we obviously see, you know, Mohammed, the guy we reacted to, I think, the second time. You remember on Pierce Morgan's show, this guy right here? I remember him. So yeah, he apparently.
Was it Mohammed Tijad?
Yeah. So he's saying Douglas embarrasses himself miserably. I don't know if it's the same clip, but you know, no, it's not honestly. But so I guess the guy has Douglas has some stuff out. You know, I don't know if he has a YouTube channel or what, but you know, you see this, 200K 17 hours ago. You know, Israel immigration. I guess he's been following this story for a pretty long time, so that's why he's there. So he obviously cares. We're gonna get in the interview. Let's get it.
This is extremely interesting.
I wonder, do he expose anything?
The fact that he's out there.
Let me ask you.
The fact that he's out there.
That's enough for me.
So y'all boys went to the border, the Texas border. He laughing at everybody that went. He said, "What?
Like, how did he get there?
He got
probably was already out there.
He's American, right?
No, he's
He
British.
didn't say he already. He probably was already out there when the war started. Stop, bro. Come on, bro.
That ain't no wild assumption.
I mean,
I don't know how he got out
That's
there.
over there by
bro, come
Europe
on
and
now.
all
Think about
that.
the chances, though.
He's by Europe.
But he's American, probably. Let's see. If he's
You just said he was British, didn't you?
Oh, he is
He is
British.
British, yes, I said that, yes.
So
I didn't see that.
what I said ain't no crazy.
No, yeah.
He probably popped the train down there. They have trains in Europe, bro. That's how they get
In the
around.
Middle East, bro.
Let's go. I know that's different. Isn't that not? Is that?
That's all connected. You could go down there, bro. That's all
I
connected.
think it is.
That all is
I don't-
connected over
But
there.
I don't know if it's easy.
I don't know how. I don't know my continents.
I don't know that. Yeah.
What do you know? What's connected to what?
That's
I ain't
sad.
know what Alaska was at. All right, let's get into it. I thought Alaska was like Hawaii Island.
No. Oh wow.
Yeah, buddy.
Oh wow.
You told me that. All right, let's get into
Yeah,
it.
you know damn well I didn't tell you that.
No, you didn't. No, not you told me that, but you told me that Alaska was connected to Canada.
Yeah, you gotta drive to Canada.
One more thing, please, guys, do not tear us up, guys. I know a lot of people screaming "Free Palestine," all this. This guy's gonna probably be pro-Israel, most likely. I don't know. Let's see his side.
Well, I'm joined now by Douglas Murray, who's on the Gaza border. Douglas, let me ask you first of all, why have you felt the need to go there?
The biggest gangster I know.
Well, I've covered every Israeli conflict since the 2006 Lebanon war. I've covered lots of other conflicts as well. And this one is obviously an incredibly important conflict. It's one that is going to be crucial, not just for Israel, but for the region. And I like to see these things firsthand, as you know, Piers.
I do. And I've read your stuff for many years about these kind of conflicts. Let me ask you, what's your feeling on the ground there? I know you've been with some of the IDF. What is your feeling about the motivation for this war from the Israeli side? Is it revenge? Is it something different? What are you picking up?
Well, it's not revenge. I mean, I think the most obvious thing is I spent part of today at the kibbutz of Nir Oz. This is a kibbutz right down the road from here by the Gaza border, where there are about 400 residents. 80 of them were kidnapped on the 7th of October, and another 30 to 40 were murdered. And I went through the remains of their houses, saw all the blood-spattered walls, and went through the charred remains of that village.
Y'all hear that other sound, bro?
Yeah, I was just making sure it was them.
It's probably like media feedback.
Yeah, I was making sure it was them.
I was tweaking. I thought my phone was
their
on.
houses, saw all the blood-spattered walls, and went through the charred remains of that village, that community. That was just one of the massacre sites. I went earlier past the massacre site of what you'll remember there was a music festival, also near the Gaza border, which was taking place where so many hundreds of young people were having a rave and then were massacred, raped, mutilated, and again kidnapped and taken through the border into Gaza. So you see the remnants of that appalling day everywhere around here. It's very hard to find a family anywhere in Israel that hasn't been directly or very closely related to the atrocities of that day. 1,400 civilians slaughtered in one day and thousands more injured is the sort of thing that will have an effect on any society. It would be roughly comparative to, say, 20,000 people being killed in our own country. So it's a massive thing. It's a massive blow in Israel. The whole nation has felt it. And of course, people know that there needs to be an answer to this. And I think that's, well, you can hear behind me as I'm speaking some of that answer, the crump of artillery shells and missiles from the air, it seems. And you can see some of that rising over the border behind me.
You talked about proportionality in this conflict being absurd. I've talked a lot about what is proportionate. I've struggled to think of what a proportionate response is to the barbarism of those terror attacks. There is a view, and maybe you share this view, but there is a view, I think Ben Shapiro said this to me when I interviewed him, that there should be no limit on the response that Israel has. It's not about proportion. It's not about you kill one of us, we kill one of you. This is about a war specifically designed to eliminate Hamas, and they will do what it takes.
Yes.
Nah, I don't agree with that. I'm not gonna agree with that. Do whatever it takes, but that just sounds crazy to me.
I
But
don't know, man, they've been dropping shells for a month straight now. At what point do we say,
brother, I'm not gonna lie, the videos that I see on X and every
my gosh, I literally saw a video yesterday.
Platform.
Child's freaking
leg chopped off, like
face was
kids
blown
just
open.
running.
Can't
I
even
lie,
get on social media.
saw a
Palestine,
video of his face blown open.
Palestine's like X and like other social medias, it will make you like really stand with them because like it's just the way they can. It's convincing like crazy.
But I got a question.
At what point do we say like that enough is enough? Because I saw a video of children from Gaza coming out like begging, like, please stop killing us.
But what Israel's supposed to do? Like, they attacked them, bro.
Do what they're doing.
I mean, like, yeah, I understand like at the initial retaliation, but like,
they
a
attacked
month straight.
Bro, like,
I just don't know what to do.
I don't know what you
I'm
gonna.
trying to
You
stay-
poked
I'm
the
just trying to
bear.
get-
That's what I'm saying. Like,
But did the kids poke
That's
the
what I'm
bear?
saying. Like, so everybody
What's the
there in
problem
the
here,
entire
guys?
state has to die.
man, I understand that, but if
So then
if
what's
that
the
whole
solution
area,
then?
if that
What's
whole
the solution then?
I don't know no solution. That's not my job to.
that's the
to
problem.
But
No
you're
one
kind
has
of
a
like
solution.
saying like that the response is justified.
I'm
in
not
the
saying it's
question.
justified.
That's the
I'm
way
just
you
saying
kind of set up the
they
question.
attacked them.
Yeah, he's saying 1,400 people died on one day.
That is a lot.
He said to scale, if 20,000 people died in one day in the U.S. would do some crazy.
So like what are you supposed like physically in that situation? What are you supposed to do? And you got bombed.
I don't know.
You got rocket shot
I
at
don't
your
know what
home.
you
Yo,
69 people died in 10 years with rocket shots. So I mean,
I don't know, man. I feel like if something
I
happened
mean, I
to
don't
the
know,
US,
man. I feel like the initial retaliation was enough, but like to keep bombing them for a month straight. I mean, at least like the worst thing you could do is just like secure your border and prepare your intelligence for trying to see how to make a more calculated response and like address Hamas. I think that would be a more sensible option than just a month straight of just blowing
I've
everybody.
seen,
that is
I've
wrong.
seen
I
a
feel the
road
bombing.
full of cars, like probably thousands of cars, just blown into pieces, bro.
I just don't
Like-
know at what point is it
Huh?
like,
Is Hamas in the cars? They might be, but I'm saying like it's like it just look like regular like vehicles. you know?
they're
I
at
just
war,
don't know.
bro.
everybody that lives there is poor, has no
guess,
food,
bro.
no nothing. So I mean, like they're already.
But that's
suffering
an
enough.
excuse for the kids to die. It's war, you know.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Like I promise you, if a country
How-
invaded
how-
us,
how
they'd
you-
have said "F us and our kids." That's war.
Okay, but this is
I guess
America.
it's wrong though.
I'm just keeping it.
I know.
I'm not
It's
trying to-
wrong though. It's still wrong, you know.
Like I have empathy for them people, but you know, you can't control it. They've been doing this from the beginning of time.
It's not the beginning of time. 1948.
No, I'm talking about war. It's been happening since the beginning of time. This is nothing new under the sun. I know we've been more sensitive lately because we taught this wrong and right.
I'm not saying
But-
Israel doesn't have this the right to respond. I'm
They
not saying
definitely
that
do.
at all. They
have more than a
100%
right to
do.
respond.
More than enough right, especially.
They
on,
had to.
But an eye for an eye.
I don't know. I mean, at first, I'm okay.
But I
like
guess
now,
that's
it's
war,
like
you know?
just blow the whole place up. Like,
Yeah,
all right,
man,
like,
it's
there's a lot of innocent
insane.
people that
Okay,
are gonna
but
die.
Yeah.
But it's just getting.
It is.
It's
I don't know what the
so
hell to do.
I don't know what to do.
cancerous to the fact that man just died. Was a pro-Israel guy that they knocked in
Jewish
the
guy.
head.
Yeah, the
That
Jewish
was
guy.
insane. That was in America.
That's what I'm saying.
They shed blood in America.
I don't know what to do.
Because I heard they're attacking
All we
Jewish
all we keep
people
talking
now
about, we
too.
just
I would say there has
We are going in
there has to
Who's
be-
right, who's wrong, but we need to figure out what is the damn
Hey,
solution.
I think Pierce just asked him, what does he think his solution is? So
that's
let's
what we
hear
got to
him.
figure out.
Eliminate Hamas,
Heat
and they
out.
will do what it takes.
Yes. Well, I mean, remember that one of the heads of Hamas said only a few days ago from the comfort of his foreign residence, because remember, the heads of Hamas don't live among their peoples. They've been made billionaires by taking in international aid for years now. But one of the heads of Hamas said the other day, we will keep doing October the 7th again and again and again. So there's a realization in Israel, I think, that this is just unlivable. You can't
supposed to
have
do?
a situation
Secure the
where
border, keep
you
them
have a
over there.
neighbor who, well, one
Let's just let him talk, bro. We're gonna keep arguing.
Yeah, there's two sides. Like it's just
But I'm
We're
not
going
gonna
just
say
saying,
keep bombing kids until the whole.
If
If
Palestine
they're
is
still
white,
bombing you,
Bro,
what you supposed to do though?
There's obviously
the 69 people died
I
from
don't
10
know
years
what
from the
to
bombs.
do.
I would say
It's-
if they're if they're already trapped by a border, why don't you just beef up the
They
security
can still
at that
bomb
border?
them,
I'm
They
trying to
can't,
put
bro.
myself
10
in-
years, 69 people died with bombs.
bro. If they bombed and shot rockets at them before, you don't think they're able to get that again and have tunnels to do all that again? And that's supposed to be part of. That's like us in Louisiana.
Israel's supposed to have one of the best military
Yeah.
forces ever.
Obviously, they don't.
Figure
That's
it
cap.
out.
The reason they got in is
Yeah,
because
absolutely, they do not.
the border security was weak. I've said that like 10 times now. Maybe you should try to read up on how they got in.
Bro, they flew in
did not
and they
fly
going
in.
in through the southern post. I remember you told us that.
They're
Yes.
not flying.
So they didn't hop on periscale or wherever them things.
It was
They
definitely
were
on
jumping.
yeah.
They were
was
jumping.
on-
That's jumping over the wall.
No, he's talking about the
barricade.
flying thing.
in the flying things.
That's how they got over the barricade.
But he said they was shooting from the sky with those things.
And they
Not
flew
like
in.
that, but
They
that
flew
was on a
in.
little-
What you mean? No, those things had a gun on it.
They had a
was
gun
like
on it and
turret.
flying in, and they
It
were
was like
shooting
almost like a
bombs.
helicopter with a turret. They was
Oh,
just
shit,
open
yeah.
fire
Well,
on
I
people.
thought they had guns.
1,400 people died. How did they
Yeah,
die?
that's true. That's true.
Like-
Hey, look, like
They ain't fall over and die.
Israel definitely has
That-
rights
that's
to
why.
respond.
That's why. This is what I think. Y'all can beat me up for this. There's two sides to the argument. There's two sides to every argument. We're gonna go in circles. Let's find a solution.
Election in 2006, after Israel withdrew from the Gaza, promptly killed their fellow Palestinians, the Fatah members in the Gaza, threw them off buildings and shot them in the back.
Damn.
So Hamas has been ruling Gaza for all the last 1.5 decades. It has spent all the international aid money and much more that has come into it on its own infrastructure of terror tunnels, its infrastructure of rockets and other munitions to throw at Israel, and then, of course, in enriching its leaders. The place you see behind me could be Singapore by now, and there's a reason it isn't, and it's the leadership of Hamas. And so, I think that it is something that people have to realize, that this is not a situation which is sustainable for Israel. And yes, the Israeli government is going to be doing whatever it needs to do to fulfill its objective of ridding the Gaza of Hamas. How easy or difficult a job that is another question, but it's something that is going on as we speak.
But in terms of the moral quandary which I've been feeling, and it's not about Israel wanting to eliminate Hamas, I completely agree with that mission statement. And certainly there's no chance of any peace when you have a terror group in charge of Gaza in the way that they've now completely established themselves to be, with no limits and just a desire to eradicate Israel and as many Jewish people as they can kill. So let's park that to one side. I concur with the mission statement. But it is incredibly difficult, just on a human level, to see, because we know the civilian population in Gaza is half children, to see the sheer numbers of kids who are being killed by the Israeli onslaught that's come back against Hamas. What do you feel about that on a human level? What should we all be feeling about that?
The first thing is, should those deaths really be attributed to the Israeli side? We saw the other day, the BBC and other media reported that the people who were lying dead on the street on one of the main routes through Gaza was alleged to be a massacre carried out by Israelis. It turned out it wasn't the case at all. It was Hamas massacring Palestinians fleeing south, as the Israelis had recommended they do. So the question, in a way, that you ask, I would say there's an answer to, which is who exactly is responsible.
See, this
for
would make
these
it more
deaths?
confusing, bro.
If you
It's all
do,
confusing.
as Hamas does, decide to build bunkers and put rockets on them and then put hospitals on top of them, who exactly is responsible for that? Is it the Israelis and their response, or is it Hamas for doing that? If you do decide, as Hamas has done, to use all of these billions of dollars of international aid to build tunnels where you can hide, among other things, the kidnapped Israelis, who's responsible for the strikes that happen as a result and any civilian deaths? Is it the Israelis or is it Hamas, who has been holding the Palestinian peoples of the Gaza hostage for the last 15 years and more? Again, I repeat this point. You know, a lot of what has been said about this seems to suggest that Hamas has no responsibility for this. You know, if you went into your neighbor's house, ransacked it, raped your neighbors, killed some of them, took others into captivity, and then somebody said, that's not on, I'm going to do something in retaliation to that, you would bear the cost of that. You'd bear the price for that. The Israelis have the right to respond to such an atrocity. And I'm rather surprised, or at least I'm not surprised in a way. I'm disappointed as ever by the number of commentators in the UK and elsewhere who always use times like this to say things like, we've got to you know, this is a time for judicious voices, this is a time for calm and much more. I do always wonder if those people would say the same or feel the same if it was a bit closer to their own home. You know, if it wasn't a kibbutz down the road, like the one I was in earlier that had been attacked, but you know, village after village in the south of England, I don't think we'd be hearing those same voices. I think there's a very particular standard that the Israelis are held to. I think it's an unfair standard, it's an unequal standard, it's an intolerable standard for the Israelis. But when people say, you know, you've just got to sort of live with this, the Israelis quite rightly will be saying, well, we don't see quite why we do.
That's
the comparison between Hamas and the Nazis is insufficient.
One pause.
And sorry,
this is my last.
Incoming.
Okay.
He's right about that.
Shit, he said incoming. Oh shit.
Hold on, I do want to see.
Nah, go ahead with your point. We're gonna see it.
If you put yourself in Israel's, if you put America in Israel's shoes, not ourselves, in America, right? He said the scale, that's like 20,000 people dying in America mathematically. So people came to America flying on things, open firing at concerts,
and shooting rockets,
and 20,000 people died. America would do something pretty
horrendous,
pretty big, I would assume.
Yeah, you would assume. We don't know. That's the thing. We don't know.
I'd say that's a safe
If
assumption.
that group who did that was still constantly after saying we are going to do that again, they would do everything in their power to kill them.
And we have to do everything in our power to eliminate them.
Damn.
Which Israel is trying to do.
And then the point, so who?
Our point here is make it more calculated.
Is it true or is it not true that, what are they called? Hamas put basically their military stuff, their missiles and all that on top of a hospital. Is that true or not?
Under the hospital.
Under hospital.
I mean, I don't know if that's true. I'm not there, so I don't know.
That is what is they said how they get all that stuff into the country.
Because this conflict is
so Hamas knows that a military base is where you get attacked in war. Yes. And they attack them. So Hamas knew that these people, like, I feel like Hamas
probably doesn't care about their people.
Yeah, they don't. That's what I'm saying. Like,
they don't.
And y'all bring up the kids. You don't even know if half of them kids is with Hamas. They're grown ass men controlling kids out there, probably.
Okay,
this is just
it's so deep. It's
so
fucked up.
When you see kids on the internet talking about please just stop killing us.
I know that hurts. That'll hurt me too, bro. But I'm just saying, it's like, what would you do?
But if Hamas left,
what you supposed to do?
Do you think they're gonna come up and to be a Hamas leader? Maybe.
Probably. They're getting taught.
That's a talk. That happened in Houston, Texas.
That's a talk. That's a talk.
If people was flying in the air in Houston, Texas, killing people,
you don't think they was taught that?
I think your thoughts are justified.
Like,
what's that guy's name that Piers Morgan interviewed?
Which one?
The guy with the gray hair.
Yusuf.
But like Yusuf said, I mean, bro, it's been built up. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like they're getting they land took grandma's.
But you justifying that?
I'm not justifying.
You is.
I'm not. 14 or how many ever people died on that day shouldn't have never died. But it's like, you know, it's just difficult, bro.
No, this is a sad story because it's like it's a lot behind it. It's a lot behind it.
You cannot sit here and say that one side is all right and one side is all wrong. You can't say that.
You can't say that. They both wrong. They're both wrong.
Sit here and figure out a solution.
America, they both wrong.
They both wrong.
America, they both wrong.
They both did some wrong things for sure. I think one side, you know, my opinion is one side did more wrong things than the other, but that's my opinion. Crucify me for it. You know? That's what it is. I'm not a fucking expert, but that's just, I don't know, bro. I don't know.
But right now, to me, Hamas is.
Everybody knows that.
So that's the main problem.
I condemn the terrorism. I condemn all of everything that has transpired on behalf of the terroristic attacks. I don't support any of that, but I just.
No, I see
we just want innocent people to stop.
Understand.
I hate to see the children die.
That's all we want.
I completely understand.
I understand that too.
That's why we just. What is the solution? Okay,
they can't
that's what we gotta figure out. But we don't know.
They can't try to go.
Whoever started this is the problem, and Palestinian people might say Israel started this.
But it's like the chicken or the egg. He started. Like who started is the problem. That's irrelevant almost because it started now. So how can we get this shit to stop?
And some people say they're not gonna stop until.
But if Yusuf was telling the truth, I'm not gonna lie. Israel's people were kind of wrong. They were being racist to Palestinians.
But you can't say all the Israel people. You know what I'm saying? That's like saying all those people over there were racist to all them. You can't fault all them for that.
You can't say. You can't.
Let's see the
answer. It's like
Israel was racist to Palestine. Like everybody there was not racist to them. Just like Yeah,
that's true.
It's just saying you can't just. That's too general of an assumption.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. At what point? I just think like if you dropping bombs for a month straight and like I don't know the people that have attacked you. Have not like done anything since then. I feel like at some point you have to.
They are still doing stuff though. To them.
And they just said they are still
doing stuff.
They said it's gonna keep happening.
But that's what I'm saying. What you supposed to do that?
If this is America, and Al Qaeda comes and kills 20,000 people, they said we spin them back again. What you think? Do you think America is going to boom, 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 boom?
Well, we're gonna leave y'all alone. I think there would be an initial response, but I think we would probably like beef up our security at home.
I would say
I don't know. We would definitely do that.
Let's get on foot.
I think America would try to eliminate.
But I've been hearing some people talk about just leave Gaza alone, let them be. Okay, they bomb y'all. It's supposed to happen.
Who said that?
I have seen people on Twitter. I have seen stuff on Twitter like that. I said, wow, this is insane. Yeah, this is a tough situation, bro.
It is extremely tough.
Did you call me?
Both sides have.
Yeah, both sides do have a point.
Definitely have a point.
Both sides do have a point.
When we talk about history, I'm like, okay, Israel might be in the wrong here, but then we talk about what just happened, Hamas is in the wrong, but then it's just like, at the same time,
I don't know.
Palestine, when we hear talking about Palestine.
That was their land first.
They were never in the wrong in this situation. You see what I'm saying? Hamas has been in the wrong.
Hamas is part of Palestine, bro.
But it's like
Hamas is in the wrong.
Hamas
is separate though.
Hamas started as a resistance.
We know they
are Palestinian people, but it's like
it's turned into a terrorism group.
Gang members in America are still American.
But it's not like that because the gang members don't run America.
They run the whole. That's like running the whole state in America.
That's why it's like.
But think about it. But Israel's running that strip. They're like controlling what's going on.
It's a state. It's a state.
I'd be like saying.
It's like a state.
I feel like this is almost like saying like say a gang is in control of a certain area.
They
went to another area and they did a drive-by and innocent people got hit and then the people in the other area came and tried to kill every single person in the area ran by the gang, even though they just lived there. You think that would be justified?
Hell no.
I think
it depends how many people that gang shot.
It'd be different if it was just a gang, but like they are actually a literal political party now.
That just live there.
So if their gang came to my side and killed almost about 100 or 200 people,
I was just speaking hypothetically.
I'm gonna retaliate for sure. So I might be more crazy than them.
If you kill my sister and them,
I might retaliate worse than them.
Yes, I'm not gonna lie.
I'm keeping it in.
Yeah, if they killed your sister, they gotta go. Can't count. They can't count. But
I don't know, man.
That's why it all comes down to the government.
I just feel like there has to be a different way.
It is.
Unless you're gonna be on.
That's my final thoughts. Like to deny people of water, Wi-Fi, all the basic necessities to live, and then just blow them up. I'm like, damn.
But they attacked them. They gave him a.
They gave you a. Hamas even said, let's. I don't know if he said let's go on foot, but he said let's gas these little chambers.
He said gas the tunnels.
That probably is on foot. Let's go on foot. That's like blow up. Me as a leader, I don't care, bro. I'm just not blowing up random kids. It's not happening. I don't care. I'm putting my soldiers that want to get on foot and let's figure out the situation on foot. But I'm not blowing up random kids. It's not happening.
From the safety of where we're at.
Yeah, it is.
Like to be the actual soldier to go out there. Are you Hamas? Bow, you dead now. It could be a kid.
It could be a kid or
anything. If I'm a soldier out there, I'm gonna go out there and I'm open fire on everybody I see.
Yes, my God, bro.
Would you know who's Hamas?
Why would they have all them little kids there, bro?
If we in war, you probably gonna have your gun.
You don't get to control where you're born.
Exactly. So you don't think they're gonna be like, bro? It's like gang members, bro.
They know like.
Think about the little niggas on the hood that's
go.
in Chicago seeing all them gang niggas.
I'm pretty sure them little dudes know that shit's wrong.
I mean, we can pull up a tank in there or something like that. Pull a tank.
You don't think to the Hamas niggas? Come on,
is he a Hamas or is he a Hamas?
You want to eat?
Don't shoot him.
You want some food?
Is he 16 or is he 18?
I know, bro, but
They got shit too. They got rockets. They fired at that bitch too.
But that's still, isn't that better than?
I don't know what this. I don't know.
Than just blowing up a whole.
I don't know.
Let's just let the video
100
play.
feet.
Yeah, I don't know what to do.
The Israelis quite right.
Yeah, we don't know what we're doing, Chuck.
Quite why we do. The comparison between Hamas and the Nazis is insufficient. And sorry, there's an incoming.
Oh,
Did you hear what she said? She said, "Oh my effing God."
Bears!
What about this issue around the pro-Palestinian?
Here's me, Joe.
Specifically, the £1 for Armistice Day here in London on Saturday. Do you think it should go ahead?
Well, my own view is that it shouldn't, and it shouldn't because it's not because it should be banned, but because it's a grotesque insult to the British people. It's a deliberately provocative day to choose for such a march. It's a deliberately provocative march. As the Telegraph showed just yesterday, around half of the organisers of the march are themselves linked with Hamas, which isn't at all surprising. We have Hamas commanders, after all, who live in London very safely, often on welfare.
What?
The organisers of the march are themselves linked with Hamas, which isn't at all surprising. We have Hamas commanders, after all, who live in London very safely, often on welfare. So, yes, I think it's
crazy.
intolerable.
On welfare?
March.
I'm
it's
sorry.
intolerable.
So fuck it. It's Hamas everywhere. Just bomb up this whole strip. All right, well, I'm gonna keep going, buddy.
Well, they left and went to Britain. And they gave them aid too. That's crazy.
Themselves linked with Hamas, which isn't at all surprising. We have Hamas commanders, after all, who live in London very safely, often on welfare. So, yes, I think it's an intolerable march. It's an intolerable provocation to the British public and the British government and the British police, by the way, who Saturday after Saturday have been made to put up with unbelievable taunting and abuse from the marchers. It's very clear by now, Piers, that what is happening is that every week the crowds are pushing and seeing if they can push the police further and further, harder and harder, and be more and more provocative. And they're managing to do that. But this is culminating this weekend. And here's the thing. I don't think, and I certainly read and hear, that large numbers of the British public are just not going to put up with this. The march may be diverted.
But let me pick you up on that.
Diverted away from Whitehall. But,
right, but let me pick you up on that, because it's interesting, because you, like me, have been a very vocal, and a passionate defender of free speech, and we know that includes that, that you have to accept that other people you may vehemently disagree with have a right to free speech. Christopher Hitchens, someone that you and I both admire.
But this isn't this.
No, I'm going to come to my question. But Christopher Hitchens said the only thing that should be upheld at all costs and without qualification is the right of free expression, because if that goes, then so do all other claims of right as well. Now, what was interesting to me, I've been on a bit of a journey this week about what I really think about this, and Nicholas Soames actually said something that really made me sit up and take notice and change my mind about it, actually. Because he's Churchill's grandson, he's a conservative, and he said strongly yesterday that he thinks the march should be allowed to go ahead because the very freedoms that the people on Armistice Day who we honour, who gave their lives in the wars, they did so to preserve the freedoms of violence, the ones who are not showing pro-Hamas stuff.
I'm not sure about that.
They have a right to preserve the freedoms of people like those marchers, the ones who are not being violent, the ones who are not showing pro-Hamas stuff. I'm
not sure about that.
They have a right to protest.
Well, we'll try to single those two things out for a second. First of all, I don't regard Nicholas Soames as a sort of hereditary inheritor of the mantle of Churchill just because he happens to be his grandson. Besides what you quoted from Christopher earlier, he would never have said that right extended to supporting terror groups. I mean, we're in a total quandary in the UK, as you know, and it's a despicable quandary to be in. We host Hamas leaders. We have a deputy prime minister, former deputy prime minister of Iran living in Harrow. We've been at the centre of allowing
welfare,
these people
bro.
to be in our country.
They're housing them.
Terror from our country for years. So it's always a bit rich to hear the British, I think, lecturing others about being an unsound part of the international security community. As for the actual marches, look, I'm afraid that the rules on this are very, very clear. you are not allowed to glorify terror or call for terror on the streets of Britain. And that existed before the 2006 Terrorism Act banned glorification, and it certainly exists now. If you stand on the streets of London calling for jihad, you are calling for terror, and that is actually a place where free speech is at its limit and is no longer permissible. It's the same with, for instance, calls for intifada on the London tubes. Remember, we had a touch of intifada on the London tubes a few years ago. So again, calling for intifada is something that you're not allowed to do in the UK.
Okay,
you're not
but Douglas,
allowed to call for
this.
murder. You're not allowed to. Let me finish one other case. You're not allowed to stand on the streets of London and call for the murder of Jews or any other minority.
No.
And yet people have been getting away with this
No,
Saturday after
these
Saturday.
are right.
And are the police arresting people? No.
Right.
No, they're not. The police last week said we're outnumbered.
Right, so that is a key point. The police have said, Met Commissioner Samart Rowley said, the laws created by Parliament are clear.
One point real quick, though. I do think people are allowed to march and, protest if they just have a little Palestine flag up. But if you're condemning, if you're really just like supporting Hamas, then okay, that's definitely a problem.
I don't.
But people have been out there. I've been seeing people post on Twitter when people have like a Palestine flag. They'll be like, they're out there supporting Hamas. Like, what?
I'm gonna keep it 100. I could say it's people physically supporting Hamas because I have seen a lot of people beating up and trying to kill and harass Jewish people lately, and that shit is sickening.
I mean, but it's kind of like because there are people dying, and people just arguing different viewpoints. It's probably people get heated. I don't think nobody's supporting Hamas. Some people might be though.
This is what I'm gonna say. I don't think nobody from so on both sides of the argument, right? People are saying y'all some more. If you stand with Palestine, you support Hamas. People saying if you stand with Israel, you're for the bombing of innocent children. I don't think either people on either side are standing for that.
Yes,
I think everybody wants. They think that's what they think is.
They think one side was more wrong than the other, and it's just but that's
no,
why I go to the point. I don't think Palestine was wrong.
I don't think
at all. I don't think the people that live in Palestine that's in that West Bank, none of them people are wrong at all.
Okay, but then citizens in Israel, they didn't bomb, they didn't shoot, they didn't press the button.
Yeah, no, but they're not wrong. People in Israel, like
people
are wrong. That's why it comes back down to the government.
But people were saying, you just remember Israel did they racist to them and this and that.
Yeah, I mean, but if we talking about like the old history and we just go, who started it? We talking about who started it, But I mean,
but that's the chicken and the egg. That's the thing I'm saying. They can say they started it.
Yeah, I guess
he started. Like that's like kids. Like
we wouldn't know.
This shit is just.
But the land situation, come on.
If we go,
no absolute power to ban protest. Therefore, there will be a protest this weekend. But the laws are also there to stop people brazenly supporting terrorism. So if people were to use a pro-Hamas banner or chant pro-Hamas sentiment, that would be against the current law of this country, and the police should take action. That's a different issue, though.
But it is, but it's not being policed.
I understand.
It's not being policed.
I understand. So on that, I can agree with you. The police need to enforce the existing laws. However, there will be a large...
They're not going to because they're outnumbered.
But
they're outnumbered, so they're not
and
going
I can
to.
agree that that's wrong, but that shouldn't mitigate the rights...
Well, don't you think that matters? Hang on, don't you think that matters?
No, it does matter.
That means that we have a rule of law, but it's not able to be policed. What's the point of having a law if you can't police it?
Well, I agree with you, but I also think that there are a large number of those protesters who genuinely are, in their eyes, protesting for peace, and they're pro-Palestinian, and they have a view in the way that you're...
I disagree with that. And I'll tell you one reason why. The crowds in question are 100 times larger than the number of people who came out when hundreds of thousands of people were being killed in Yemen. They are 100 times larger than the number of people who came out when Bashar al-Assad killed hundreds of thousands of people in Syria. Seems to me that the people in question only care if one side in the particular conflict happens to involve the Israelis.
But they're allowed to.
Very excited.
But they're allowed to.
So I don't know. They're allowed to, absolutely, and we can make judgments about that. But I would not presume by any means that what you're talking about are pro-peace people.
Yeah, this been going on.
They're anti-Israeli.
Over there in the Middle East.
Well, but they're allowed to be anti-Israeli. I think that's the point.
Over there. This, bombing, that is nothing new over there. There's people with their kids and stuff.
That point didn't make sense, though. I mean, that's kind of stupid. Just because somebody went to the protest, they're wrong because they didn't go.
But you got to remember this. He said...
He said the crowds are larger. I don't know. I just don't think. I can't think of any time in recent memory where we've seen a country just blown to shit like this.
No,
That's mostly children.
I was just finna say it's crazy why
that I can remember.
I can remember what he's saying. That
Other
is
than
crazy
Japan.
is that you got got the head leader of Hamas there in
1944.
London, and then you got protests supporting
Supporting
terrorism.
All this goes back to pointing at who
That is bad.
Who funded Hamas? What governments are supporting this? It all goes back to the government. To me, that's the finger we need to be pointing at, the government.
And
I think we need to find a solution.
Yeah.
it looks like it's no solution.
Seems to me that the people in
there is
question
either.
only care if one side in the particular conflict happens to involve the Israelis. Then
But they're
they get
allowed
very
to.
excited.
But they're allowed to.
So I don't. Well, they're allowed to, absolutely, and we can make judgments about them. But I would not presume by any means that what you're talking about are pro-peace people. They're anti-Israeli. That's it.
Well, but they're allowed to be anti-Israeli. I think that's the point. They're not
Sure,
allowed.
they're allowed to be anti. If you're allowed to be, in that case, I suppose we have to allow people to be anti-other nations as well. I mean, Britain was founded at the same year. Israel, was founded in the same year, within the year of Pakistan. Maybe we should allow large protests of hundreds of thousands of people to go around the streets of London protesting that Pakistan doesn't have a right to exist or a right to defend itself.
Well,
Maybe we should allow this. I don't think
it's
it's a good precedent
I don't
whatsoever.
think, hang on. I don't think you have a right
is
to
right
say
about
that
saying
Israel
that.
doesn't exist. If you
I
want
can
the
feel 'em.
extermination of all people in Israel,
Well-
that is a criminal offence. However, if you are literally, as I said,
Well, it doesn't seem to be a criminal offence, Piers. It doesn't
No,
seem
but
to be
you
a
and
criminal
I
offence.
can agree
repeat-
on that.
I
I'm
repeat,
not disagreeing with you
We're clearly in a position where they're not policing the law.
No, I understand.
Otherwise, we wouldn't have all of these videos of people
know.
inciting violence on the streets.
But Douglas, you and I can agree that the police need to enforce existing law. I don't. There's no dispute between us on that, and they should be doing that a lot more. But we also, I think, have to surely look at the people who are genuinely there in a non-violent manner, of which there are many. These are massive protests. I think back to the protests, for example, against Donald Trump when he came to London, against America because he was the president. We allowed that to happen. I didn't necessarily agree with them, but we allowed them to happen. You know, I remember Madonna saying we should blow up the White House, a women's march in Washington. That happened, and people accepted that.
Well, but here's a very important point on that, Piers. Madonna almost certainly, so far as I know, has no military capability behind her. So when Madonna says, "I'd like to blow up the White House," it's a piece of stupid rhetoric from a pop star. When you've just had the largest massacre of Jews since the Holocaust, and you have Hamas supporters and others marching through London calling for it to happen again, that does matter
call for it to
because
happen
there is a
again?
capability.
Yes.
So there is a difference, isn't there?
Well, there is,
Some
but
people
I
are
don't
with
think
They're in
all of
London.
these protesters
That's
are pro-Hamas.
And the difference
On
the
welfare,
difference is
that's
whether or not-
insane. To
I
me.
would never-
That's like
That
that's
is
like
insane.
that would mess me up more.
Whoa,
I'm sorry.
whoa, whoa. No, he's saying that some people are out there just protesting. The Hamas leaders
There's
might not
been-
be out there protesting.
There's been
They're there.
thousands of people protesting.
But how
in
we
London.
know it's the Hamas leaders out there protesting?
He said they live there. He said they
They
live
live
there.
there,
He
but
said
they're not
that.
protesting.
You don't think they're out there with them,
We don't know what they do.
No, man. It might be.
Nigga,
Bro,
that is a
they're-
Hamas leader.
Bro.
Come
If
on,
he get,
brother.
bro, that's
They're
not,
on
that's not a
welfare.
bad assumption. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
not.
I mean, it's not a bad
There's
assumption.
literally no way
It
to
could
know.
be either one.
There's
though.
no
There's
way to
literally,
know.
there's literally crowds
Yeah,
of
it's no way to
thousands of
know.
people.
Yeah.
There's no way to know.
Yeah,
who's
yeah,
out
They
yeah,
there.
could
true.
organize that
He could
shit.
be organizing that shit,
Exactly.
riling
That's
them
true,
up.
that's true.
like think about it. In America, it probably some Hamas leaders here. They riling up right now. No, I'm keeping it 100. I'm not
Yeah, I don't
trusting.
know.
I'm keeping it like
I don't
we
know.
don't know. We because I think about everybody that's crossing our border right now. It's all type of shit going on.
Yeah,
Policing
yeah. All
is
these
not
protesters.
getting. They're not policing around these cities.
this
It's
is
a
what-
lot of crime going on. We don't know what the fuck's gonna happen.
It just looks so bad because like nobody was screaming "Free Palestine" until after October the 7th when they
No,
bombed.
people have been saying that
Israel,
for
you
years.
mean, or-
People been
But
saying
I've
that for
never seen
years.
nobody say.
I've seen that.
No
Oh,
marches
yeah,
for
yeah,
it.
no, you're right.
I've seen that for
I haven't
years.
seen
People have been
shit
saying that
about
for years.
in my entire life until now.
Yeah, I'm
that's
keeping it. I
crazy.
ain't see it till now.
Oh,
Till
that's
that,
crazy.
till that day
I've
happened.
definitely seen that before. I've seen that thousands of times.
I've never seen it ever.
But I've never
Right.
I've seen it, but I never understood it until
either.
now. But I've definitely seen it before because it's lots of famous people from there, like The Weeknd's ex-girlfriend, the models used to say that.
Real?
And then I heard this one dude, what's his name? He makes funny videos, Thundercat or something. He said it in the video. He was like, "Hey, shout out Free Palestine." I remember I was like, "What?" People on Twitter thought it was funny. It came out a few years ago.
That's crazy.
2017,
Yeah,
18.
you know.
So I've definitely heard it before, but I've never understood it until now.
That's why I used to say I don't condemn it, but like I can see why it happened. You know, your grandma's getting beat up. You know.
So if you see why that happened, then you see why.
I see why they getting bombed too, but I can't. You know, it just hurt to see the kids. You know, maybe we can do it a little different. Man, let's go to war, man.
You would not be surprised having them kids.
Let's keep it like not. Let's go to war. I'm saying that's bad. I'm saying. Let's go one side on this side, and let's just go to war then, man.
Okay, let's cut this bit right here. Let's cut this part out of the video. If you want to do that, that's what they're going to do, and then they're going to fucking eliminate that in one fucking day.
Well, let's have it.
And kill every
But that's why Hamas wrong. That's why they don't give a fuck.
But you just
Hamas don't give a fuck. I think
people your own argument.
I'm just saying. I mean, Israel like need to be like.
Because this is what I also think.
Because if it's not that many of them,
the argument is
get on feet and let's go fight them.
Nigga, no, they're gonna bomb them niggas. They don't know who's in it. Let's make it easy. It's a war, nigga. It's a war. Bomb, kill them all.
It was Zach Fox that said.
That's what I'm saying. It's kids in there too.
Zach Fox said.
Let's set a location.
Take this video.
Zach Fox said.
If they're fighting over land, right? It comes out to the end of the day. Well, how did America get their land? They zipped for it. So if you can't with me, you can't take this. That's how the world works.
Exactly.
I don't know why.
That's how land is got and given. They took their land. Oh, they took their land. Nigga, it's war. Nigga, America took a lot of motherfuckers' land. But can you whoop them? No. So shut the fuck up.
Why would we take that out though? We've been saying that. We've been saying that on other videos.
They gonna say I'm mad. I'm a barbaric person.
Okay.
You don't know what they be dealing with, nigga.
I said Thundercat. Well, I said it was Thundercat. That said it was Zach Fox.
That does matter because there is a capability. So there is a difference, isn't there?
Well, there is, but I don't think that all of these protesters are pro-Hamas.
And the difference is whether or not you have a large artillery behind you.
Yeah, but you don't honestly think they're all pro-Hamas, these people?
Well, I think that anyone who, for instance, chants things like "from the river to the sea" is in fact
but they're not all doing that.
Censored.
Is criminally ignorant.
Well,
they are. I mean, there's masses of
Palestinian
videos of them marching past Westminster Abbey last week saying exactly that.
Yeah, but they're not all doing
marching
it.
past the statue of Winston Churchill last
I've
week.
watched the videos, and there are lots of people chanting and some who aren't.
Okay, well, here's a challenge. Here's a challenge, Piers. If you decided to go on some kind of march and in week one you discovered that you had the BNP along your side calling, for instance, for the murder of all black people, would you not wonder whether or not you should go on week two? And would you not drop out by about week three? I'd have thought so. I would.
That's a good question. And yes, but that doesn't actually.
Good.
That shouldn't.
Right. So we can tell something about the marchers.
Well, you can say that you have a view. Your own opinion is they shouldn't be marching alongside these other people. However, they are still entitled in a free democratic country like ours. And look, I don't have absolute opinions on this. I just think it's a really interesting test of how far free speech goes.
Well,
and I do feel
here's
uncomfortable.
the interesting test, if I can say.
But wouldn't that consider hate speech?
The interesting test, if I can say so, Piers, is there are.
So that's like when the Ku Klux Klan just walk around.
You are not allowed to glorify the murder of people on the streets of Britain. You are not allowed to be a member of a prescribed terrorist group in Britain. But I return to the point I made at the start. We allow it. I repeat, we have Hamas commanders living in the UK who take welfare in the UK and use it to commit terror. Why are they not locked up? Because we have laws that we don't pursue.
Yeah.
We have criminal charges that we don't use. The person in particular I'm thinking of, Mohammed Sawalha, got British citizenship. You're meant to sign a form saying you're a person of good character to become a British citizen. Can you say that somebody who was a former military commander of Hamas in the West Bank is, quote, a person of good character? I'd say not. So agenda, again, like the police, like many other people, the border control in the UK doesn't enforce the law, doesn't care to do so. And I repeat, there is a serious problem with this in the UK. Israel, as you can see tonight, can look after itself. I wonder if Britain can say the same.
Yeah, listen, I understand that point. You've also said it will have to be counted if the march goes ahead.
I'm not going to lie.
Because the British public shouldn't have to put up with it. But what does that mean in reality? You're not endorsing people to go and confront them, are you?
No, not at all. I would suggest that if the cenotaph, for instance, comes under attack, there should be a peaceful ring of people around the cenotaph to protect it, as with other monuments. And I think that that's what many people will do. I hope they do so peacefully. But as this goes on and as the provocations grow and grow, I'm very, very afraid from what's going to happen this weekend coming in the UK. Personally, I think it's safer in Israel these days than it is in central London, certainly for Jews.
Damn.
Let's talk.
He said safer in the UK than where?
Over there right now.
Than Israel for Jews.
What concerns me about what
Israel,
Israel is doing. It's not their efforts to get rid of Hamas, but because of the particular nature of Hamas embedding themselves amongst civilian populations with the massive amounts of civilian casualties that will inevitably come, and that figure will grow and grow and grow. Are we not, as Barack Obama warned, are we not creating here just an opportunity for far greater radicalization of all those young Palestinians who watched their loved ones get killed? Why would we imagine that at the end of all this, they're going to want to do anything other than to become a new version of Hamas?
They probably was already
to exact revenge for what happened to their families.
Well, two things. One is, if you just follow the logic of what Barack Obama said, then you just shouldn't do anything. If you're Israel, you should be attacked and just sit back and say, great, we'll wait for the next one. But the second and more important thing is, your question supposes that there is a sort of peaceful Palestinian population in the Gaza who would love a two-state solution, and then a few bad apples in Hamas. I think that's not true. Why is it that when one of the victims of the music festival, a poor young German Jewish girl, who it seems was raped and then brutally murdered and taken into the Gaza naked. Why was it that you can find, and anyone can find this online, a crowd of ordinary Gazans? It wasn't Hamas, it wasn't a Hamas rally. Ordinary Gazans spitting on her body, hitting her body, mutilating her body further as it went down the street. Does that strike you, Piers, as a placid population of peacenik types who are just desperately waiting for a two-state solution to be put back on the table for the millionth time in the last 70-something years? It doesn't seem like that to me.
Wow.
No, but there are over 2 million people in Gaza, and there weren't 2 million people in that video clip. There were a few hundred. So I don't like to make...
Yeah, well, a few hundred at random. A few hundred at random. And did you see anyone in it saying, hey, guys, stop. We're not meant to mutilate the bodies of girls or rape them in public? No, I didn't see that.
But then what you're really articulating, correct me if I'm wrong here, but isn't what you're articulating really an endorsement of collective punishment, where you assume they're all guilty?
No.
And if they don't stand up to Hamas, they're also guilty.
Well, that's what he said.
And that's where people have a problem, I think, with the moral line here, which is if you hold all the Gazans equally responsible, then is that not collective punishment, which is illegal?
Well, first of all...
That's crazy.
First of all, there is some responsibility for the peoples in the Gaza. If you elect Hamas and they kill Fatah, and then they remain in power for all of the years afterwards, I'm afraid that there is some responsibility of the people in that situation. Wow. You know, when the Germans had Adolf Hitler come to power and voted for him, we in Britain took the view that the German people were responsible in some way.
That's
fair to say. I'm not for collective punishment per se, but nor am I for this idea that there is something unique going on in the Israeli-Gaza context that we in Britain couldn't understand.
Actually, there is one unique thing.
In our own history, there is very similar things.
But there is one unique thing, which is that the population of Gaza is pretty unique in that nearly half of the population are children. That is a unique situation.
Yes.
No, I'll tell you what's unique about the population of Gaza. It's the only population in the world where people routinely claim Israelis are committing genocide, but which has a population boom all of the time. I mean, that strikes me as being quite an interesting thing about the Gaza. But as for the moral cruelty, I want to make a very, very important point, if I can say so, on this, which is, you know, people quite often abuse history, and they say things all the time. I mean, about the only thing anyone from history knows is about the Nazis. Here's something I can tell you with absolute certainty, Piers, having not just seen some of the results of what Hamas did on the ground here in Israel a few weeks ago, but having watched the videos of the unedited footage, which I was one of the journalists was sadly allowed to see the other day. I can tell you one thing: the comparison between Hamas and the Nazis is insufficient. And sorry, there's an incoming. Incoming.
That's what happened.
Get safe, Douglas.
Come.
That's crazy.
Did you hear that girl in the back? She said OMFG.
I can't. I can never play with Douglas Gangster though.
I have a lot to say.
I can't play with his gangster.
Yeah, see, this is the end. Or he over.
It's not.
She.
Are you okay, Douglas?
Douglas is out there on the border talking to Pierce.
came from the other direction.
It's another level of gangster.
Okay.
Right
Anyhow,
now.
we're okay.
Are you okay?
Let's just. Yeah. It's fine. Sorry. It was a rocket coming. It looked like it was just going to land on us here.
Which way was that rocket coming from? Was it coming from Gaza or from Israel?
Yes, it seemed to be coming from Gaza. So. Yeah, it's fine. It's okay. It's been happening all day. Let me just finish this point I made.
Before we go on, Douglas, Atman, how does that How does that make you feel? What just happened there?
I mean, it's I'm a little used to it. I was in Ukraine last year and was in Kherson.
Is that Ukraine?
Odessa and Mykolaiv, and when the Russians were shelling it, so I'm a little used to it. But just if I can just finish this point, sorry, there's a lot of banging going on, but anyway, we'll keep going.
Well, look, if you need to stop, Douglas, we understand.
No, don't worry. If we need to stop, I'll run to the shelter, I assure you. The thing that struck me, Piers, about seeing the 7th of October footage was that even the Nazis were actually ashamed of what they did. SS battalions who spent their days shooting Jews in the back of the head and pushing them into trenches had to get very, very drunk in the evening to forget what they had done. The Nazi high command famously had to sort of get around the problem of soldier morale because the soldiers knew this wasn't exactly what their lives were meant to look like either. I tell you one very big difference. If you look at the footage, the raw footage, and I really hope people don't on a wider scale have to view what I viewed the other day, if they see it, they will see something that is at least as barbaric as what the Nazis did. But here's the difference. They did it with glee. They were deeply proud.
Wow.
Okay,
you see people trying to, taking the head off a young Israeli man with a shovel and then calling their parents back in Gaza and telling them, Father, I've killed 2 Jews, 10 Jews with my own hands. Get mother on the phone. I want to tell her how great a job her son has done. I come back to this thing. I'm not exaggerating with this. It's very, very interesting, and people need to realize you had this situation with the Nazis where they also were a genocidal anti-Semitic organization, but they tried to cover their crimes up. Hamas are actually proud of them, and they've said they will do them until the whole world is clear of Jews.
Wow.
So I suggest we take that seriously, and I think that Israel is taking it seriously. I hope they continue to take it seriously, but I think the world should take it seriously, and that includes Britain. And when I hear British journalists, British commentators, and British politicians lecturing the Israelis on what they should do, I think, I'm sorry, this shows a failing in our country. It shows that we in Britain cannot enforce our laws. We don't even enforce our borders in Britain. It's us that is the weak link in the international security chain on this, not Israel.
Everybody does have a love
How does
right now.
this war end? Netanyahu said yesterday that he sees at the end of this, Gaza falling under Israel occupation for an indefinite period. Now, there are many people in Israel who absolutely want Netanyahu out and hold him accountable for what happened on October the 7th in terms of the failing of defense and security. He's deeply unpopular now amongst his own people. But this whole idea that you somehow reconcile this 75-year conflict, which has blown up into warfare time and time again, by Israel ending up as a completely occupying force, that seems to me utterly untenable.
Yeah. Well, I think that, look, it's too early to tell. I would just say this, and I've said this before, but Israel is one of the only countries in the world that's never allowed to win a conflict. It has been left with this question of the Palestinians in the West Bank, the question of the Palestinians in Gaza. It's been left with this for years. And by the way, I say left with it because, remember, the Jordanians could solve the problem in the West Bank immediately by taking the Palestinians therein or taking some kind of control. They don't want to. The Egyptians, I have friends who were born in Gaza when it was owned by the Egyptians, run by the Egyptians. The Egyptians could solve the Gaza problem tomorrow by allowing the Gazans into Egypt or taking control of the Gaza themselves. Nobody wants the Palestinians people. And there's this endless mistake that is being made, and it has been made all my lifetime, certainly, which is that there's this unsolved unsolved problem, but it is the job of the Israelis to solve it. What is happening behind me is a demonstration of the fact that it is an insoluble problem that the Israelis keep being told to solve. Gaza, ever since the Israelis left it in 2005, could have become Singapore. It could have become a thriving place. But Hamas didn't want that. They wanted to turn it into a place. Instead of building upwards, they built downwards. Instead of building great buildings, they built great tunnels. This is a tragedy for the Palestinian peoples, but it's one that has been brought on them by groups like Hamas, who do not want a settlement in this war.
Wow.
Douglas Murray, so powerful to talk to you there on the Gaza border. And I'm glad that you went through what was a pretty scary moment in the middle of that interview. And I appreciate you coming back and continuing the interview as if nothing had happened. Quite remarkable to witness, I have to say, from the safety of my London studio. But I do appreciate it, and stay safe out there.
Okay.
Will do. Very good to see you, Piers.
Wow.
I don't know, man. I'm not going to lie. Douglas made a lot of points.
He did. He made a couple points.
There's some things I want to talk about. He said that the people protesting are like supporting Hamas. I don't believe that.
I agree with that.
I think a lot of people are protesting because they want peace. You know, when you look at the death toll of children, it's very sad to see. When you see all the videos and footage that's being put out, obviously you want that to end, and you don't want something that bad to continue. So therefore,
that's why I would protest.
Yeah, no, definitely. So I don't think that everybody that's protesting is pro-Hamas. Now, do I think there are some that could be? That very well may be true. You know, that very well may be true. So I'm not going to deny that either. I also think that he said that the kind of like all the people in Palestine are kind of to blame because when the bad things start happening, they were in the streets celebrating. Well, you know, I also don't think that's a good representation because there's a few bad apples speak for everybody. Obviously, that was a good example. I'm not gonna lie. It's gonna be
people in Palestine that hate Jews. Definitely.
I personally,
both sides.
I personally have faith in humanity, and I'm gonna say not everybody there is bad, and not everybody deserves to die. And I'm gonna end on that point with that.
No.
Another thing he said, damn, I forgot. There was a lot of shit I had to say. He said,
I just know this would mess me up the most. How they're having welfare for Hamas, but they're supporting Israel and sending funds and money to help them to stop Hamas. That is the weirdest shit ever. And what's up with
agenda somewhere?
And what's up with all the left countries? Every country that have a liberal president or a liberal anything, they have an immigrant problem right now. Yeah. What is going on? Yeah, and you're seeing terrorist attacks and you're seeing crime going on. That is a problem.
Definitely.
That is giving me a lot of red flags, and I'm constantly seeing that.
Yeah, man. It might be biblical, man. This might be biblical. We might be finna just, end times.
No, yeah, it's getting bad. Another thing he said,
possibly
how they elected Hamas. They did do that. That is a good point.
That is a great point.
When 50% of the population is under the age of 15, which would mean they were born after 2006, and that's when Hamas was elected. What, 2006, 2007? So that would mean that 50% of the people living there were born after they came into power. I don't really think that's a good representation of who decided who's going to be in charge. I'm sure that most of the people who decided that are dead, and now the children are being dealt with.
But you don't think they was really think about this? Oh,
so it is 50% children there. Where are the parents?
The other 50%. Huh? The other 50%.
Well, so wouldn't America be that then too?
What?
Well,
that mean they probably having a lot of kids. They're in there just going. They having a lot of babies.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know, man. It's just so confusing because if they having a lot of kids, then it's not really a genocide. I don't know.
It's just
I mean, the genocide would be like the mass killings of them.
But all I'm saying, I can feel both sides too. But
I think
if you say your kids, the kids, they're getting taught. I feel like they're getting taught
the age
that
of 15. So we're talking 11, 9.
Think about it. We just seen a 9-year-old kid in America say, if she ain't sucking, she can get about my ish. You don't think they're teaching them? Okay, they're 6. So you don't think they're teaching them That same thing that we
Parents
like.
teach their kids
That's
that
culture.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, you know, that's a
point.
good assumption to make. But
Okay,
like,
hold
can we
on.
say that for everybody? That's like saying every kid in the hood is gonna be a bad kid like that one you just
Okay,
referenced.
not everyone, but
Okay,
majority.
so
but majority.
we can't say that then. So I can't come on here and say
Y'all both,
just because
y'all both making points.
Definitely. And I can't come on here and say, oh, they may be taught, all kids are taught that. I can't say that. There's
Bro,
children dying, that's wrong.
I have seen
in my moral compass when I see that. So therefore, I think that a lot of the points Douglas made were very valid, and I can't dispute them. I'm like, okay, you make a lot of sense, you know. But on the other hand of that, you know, I can't say that. Like, he's making a lot of generalized assumptions, saying that a lot of the people that's protesting are pro-Hamas. I think a lot of them may be pro-peace. They want a ceasefire. They want children to stop dying. He's saying that a lot of people in Gaza can be guilty, just as guilty as Hamas, because they celebrated when they came back. I think that's justified, you know. Yeah. But on the other hand of that, I don't think a lot of them support Hamas and they want peace, because a lot of them have to go to Israel to work anyway. So, I mean, they work amongst the Jews. So, therefore, I can't say that all of them are bad. There's definitely going to be some bad ones, of course, especially if they feel some type of way towards Israel and they see something bad. Bassem Youssef made that point. They feel some type of way. They feel like they've been spited. When they see something bad happen to the people that have spotted them, they're going to celebrate. Obviously, that's going to happen. Definitely. So, therefore,
I'm gonna say this stat,
you know,
and I'm gonna end it.
I've said what I need to say.
Y'all done with y'all points. Y'all done with your points.
I've said what I need to say.
Say this point. So after October 7th, with October 7th, I believe, only of 1,400 Israel people have died.
1,400.
1,400, right? Okay. Over 10,000 Palestinians have died.
4,000 of them were under the age of 18, so minors.
I'm standing on business, bro. I'm pro-Palestinian, bro. I don't give a fuck, bro.
Yeah, man.
10,000?
That is a lot of people.
I think and then when you look at the death count throughout the years, it's always very lopsided. More people are dying on the Palestinian side. So therefore, I mean, I don't know. I just think,
what do we do?
I don't know what to do.
Yeah,
man. I don't know what to do. But like the points that Douglas made, the people that said they want to eradicate all Jews and they're gonna stand on that, they're gonna keep coming back. That's a problem. You have to get rid of them. There has to be a way.
War. Hey, look, y'all talking about? Hey, well, I'm supposed to just go in and see who is Hamas. War is go and see. Hey, if you die, you get hit. You get hit. Oh, well, you went out there, buddy.
That's not war.
Okay, well, not war.
That's Call of Duty.
Okay, well, a tactical war that the general gives a fuck about. If I'm just gonna press a button and bomb all these damn people.
They have done that before. America have
Let's
done
go
that.
in. Okay. So y'all don't got no technology to see where these bombs are coming from. Well, it might not be at the exact.
They shoot them
point,
out there. They shoot them out the sky.
Okay. But let's just go figure out where the hell they at. I'm not saying
they
just go
shooting
kill
the bombs
people,
from
bro.
the hospital. We just said that.
Let's walk in this goddamn.
That's not what he said. He said they're hiding their tunnels under the hospital.
Let's go find the tunnels.
Israel's blowing the hospitals up, and that's where a lot of the injuries people are going.
Smoke that
What's
bit out.
causing more casualties.
I'm
not gonna lie, Solomon. I think you do have a point there.
Israel soldiers, if they walk on feet, they're gonna die. So we have to be ready for that. Definitely, that's gonna happen. But I'd rather that than 4,000 kids died. You know, so I mean, I think that's the best solution. But hey,
I don't know the solution.
I don't know what the solution is.
Y'all keep saying, hey,
I don't know what the solution is, man.
Okay, yeah, that's gonna be difficult.
But you don't know who's Hamas. That's the whole problem. That's the whole problem.
Once
you
you
don't
go
know.
in,
You don't know.
You're gonna figure it out.
You're not gonna figure it out. How will you know?
We tried to
How would
stop
you
Al-Qaeda.
They don't know who. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. When my mama was at war, nigga, the same people that she was fighting for in Afghanistan was cooking for her. One day, next day, they trying to blow themselves up. Self-sabotage, blowing themselves up. So you don't know. You physically don't know who's on your side out there.
I think that's very true.
Sleep on the
I think
ground
that is a
out there.
very good point. You know, and that's why I say I literally have no idea how to end this conflict.
Yeah, me either.
But I think that
what to do.
I think that. No, you know, I really don't know.
Once again, another interview.
I've said all of my thoughts.
This person versus this person. Yeah, she's going in a circle.
I'm not gonna lie, man. A lot of things Douglas said were valid, but I found I can see things on the other side. I have a little bit more faith in humanity, and I think that a lot of the things he was trying to villainize a lot of people, and I'm like, I don't think that all these people are forces for the bad side. You know, I think there's still people that want to see good done.
I see problems
on both sides.
I think both sides have done horrible things.
In the comments, let's please come up with solutions on what y'all think instead of us saying, okay, free this country, and this side's wrong, this side's wrong. Let's figure out solutions, guys.
Yeah, the biggest
that's what we need to do.
The biggest hole I had with him, we said that they elected.
He did have some
Hamas,
shit.
and
I'm
like, bro, it's 50% children.
I didn't really agree with
after
Douglas
that
on a lot of
happened.
things,
But
he
y'all
was
don't
cool
think?
though. Hey, he a soldier.
I'm just saying, like, I even seen videos, especially with Islamic type of people and religions, they be having schools with them kids sitting there teaching them like.
I believe so. It's some messed up evil stuff going on.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
They got to figure it out. I mean,
I don't know. But technically, I don't know. But
yeah, guys, let us know what y'all think.